Good evening. Given 10 minutes to speak on navigating fiscal waters. Has the ship been brought to shore? Is it brought home? No, and it's a long way before we get home. The waters are really choppy, and if any captain thinks that he's got a magic wand, be warned that they are trying to mislead you. There is no easy solution. And you have to be a really good ship captain with a lot of experience to understand how to navigate this ship back home. Given the time, I just want to touch on 5 things. In another few hours, hopefully we will hear from the IMF that they have approved the second tranche of the disbursement. Immaterial of our political beliefs, that is a good thing, and if not, we will then slide back into a much more chaotic situation than we are. Now, the issue there is on fiscal consolidation. The whole thing is about the fiscal side. IMF in Montek Singh Alwalia's book, if anyone read, says it's mostly fiscal. IMF is it's mostly fiscal. You know, if we had a better fiscal discipline, we would not have been in this mess. It was in 1993, last time we saw 20% of GDP as taxes. That was when Mr. Ranasinghe Premadasa was president. And then since 94, populist policies of giving tax breaks to all and sundry brought taxes down as a percentage of GDP to about 9% in 2015. And with Mangala, late Mangala, introducing the new Indian Revenue Act, it went up to about 11.5%. Then Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa did the unthinkable and brought down tax revenue to about 7.5%, total revenue to about 8%. And then obviously the thinking at that time was there was something called modern monetary theory. Everybody who read it didn't read the caveat, and they thought it's okay, we don't need to collect taxes from people and corporates. We can print that money at the central bank. The central bank printed money, fiscal responsibility was thrown in the waste paper basket, and then we all knew, we warned them multiple times that this is the wrong way you're moving, and we fell off the cliff. Now, everyone has to pay. 7 people or 8 people have been found guilty of economic crimes, but 225 lakhs or 2.2 million, 22 million of us have been asked to cough up, like the Honorable Minister, former Minister said, 100,000 rupees or whatever it is, it really doesn't matter because it's a huge amount of money that's going to go out of your pocket. So in that sense, the main thing is to be able to be disciplined about the fiscal side. Fiscal side does not include only revenue, it also includes expenditure. That is why in the program we have what is called a target on the primary balance. That is the annual efficiency of the government. Now, if you ask me, can we cut more expenditure? You should cut the expenditure. You are only increasing taxes. I would tell you no. We need to our expenditure has to go up. We have to spend more on healthcare. We need to spend 3 times more in teacher salaries. We have to put more money into infrastructure. How can you spend less? We are one of the nations in the world, or we are probably one of the lowest expenditure per person on social infrastructure in the whole entire world. Why is that? Because we don't have revenue. Where are you going to get the revenue? So that's the issue, right? Honorable Ranawaka had a bunch of slides to show how the tax department, the customs, the excise department is either inefficient or corrupt. That's one aspect of the entire story. You need to fix the efficiency and improve the tax administration, granted. But then go beyond that. What is the equity in taxes? Is it appropriate to whack tax on milk? Is it right to whack tax on solar panels? Is it correct to whack tax on medical equipment. It is not. It is unfair. It is inequitable. So fairness in taxes. Then affordability in taxes. There is something called the Laffer curve, we all know. After a particular point, I remember Dhananath's example. You try to teach a puppy to jump over a chain. You swing the chain, the puppy jumps over, you raise it a bit, the puppy jumps over, but the puppy finds it impossible or doesn't want to try anymore. The puppy goes under the chain. That's what it is. After a while, if the level that you need to clear is too high, you just give up or you find other ways of doing it. So not paying taxes, tax evasion comes, and also the incentive to pay taxes fall when you reach a particular point of inflection. So all those things need to be taken into consideration when you design tax policy. Then on the same side is the debt restructure. We heard a lot about the inequitability or the unfairness in the domestic debt restructure. We all agree. Now the issue is we have agreed to something. Now, once today's decision is made at the board of the IMF, and in connection with that is the external debt restructure. The OCC have agreed in principle, that is the Paris Club plus India, for a framework on the restructure. We are told that Exim Bank of China has also agreed, and only CDB awaits further discussion. There is some movement in this debt restructure. And many of, I don't know how many of us met, but the bondholders were here 2 weeks ago. They met many people, including myself, long discussion over what kind of outcome they are looking for. And in that context, everyone that I met, all the big guys who are trying to find a resolution here, were telling me, look, confidence is everything. You have agreed to a particular structure, and if you people think that you can move away from that structure, then you cannot expect us to sit around and take it lying down. So the point that the Honorable Minister was making earlier is actually valid. Right? I don't want to sugarcoat anything. Right? I want to be truthful. And if people believe that you can come tomorrow and say we are going to completely renegotiate this IMF deal, you are dreaming. You are in a parallel universe. It doesn't happen like that. This is an established set of rules that we play by. Of course we can say that, and we can be isolated and not be part of the club that we want to be included in. That's fine. That's your choice, right? And if that choice is going to be made, we better be sure that people who are making us take that choice are capable in order to take us through. If you are not 100% certain people who are telling you that are capable of delivering that, then better be warned, right? I am not once again telling you what you want to hear perhaps. You probably want me to come here and criticize every damn thing, but I won't do that. That's not the intention. The third point is the stability in price levels. People say, okay, there are no queues, the economy is stable. Let us agree that it is stable. Right? But it's a different equilibrium that we have. In the previous stability, 100% or 50% lesser than what it is today. A 4-person family could survive with 80,000 bucks. Now again, it is stable, no queues, but you need 175,000 to manage. So what has happened is cost of living has almost doubled, poverty has more than doubled, but we have a different equilibrium and the economy is stable. But that is no credit to anyone. Right? Stability means nothing. Stability in what context? We can be stable at, cost of living going up by another 200%. We will be stable. But what does it mean? Right? So in that context, I think the fact that we have to move beyond that. Right? We can't say, look, we have won this game. We're just getting started. Right? And the elephant in the room is really the social impact, the political impact of all of this. Right? I mean, I don't need to dwell on it because we all know. If I say it again, I'm going to bore you. So that's the only reason why I'm not going to touch on it. But we are fully aware of the massive burden that all people have to endure. Corruption. Right? Everyone knows that you have to eliminate corruption. It is nothing new. It's just that we haven't had the political backbone to do it. Now, Honorable Partly Ranawat and I'm in a particular committee on public finance, and last week or the previous week we refused to approve the salary structure of the commission members. Because my point was, if the biggest cancer in this country is corruption, and you need a person to fight corruption, and all 225 of us got together and approved an anti-corruption bill, that man who is sitting there must be a superhero. Right? You have to be. Now, if you're going to say you cannot be over 62 years of age, and plus you need 20 years of experience, but your salary shall be fixed at 550,000 rupees, and that you are not entitled to any other emoluments, then who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? So this is fooling everyone. Right? So therefore, we said go back and speak to whoever it is and come back again. They came back with like a 50,000 increase. Right? And we said, well, I mean, I don't want to be accused as, not approving the salary structure, the chairman and the members of the Anti-Corruption Commission. I don't want to be accused of that. Right? So we grudgingly said, well, I mean, we are totally unhappy with this, and go back and see whether we can improve it, but it has to be done. So anti-corruption, erasing corruption is one. But some people do believe, I don't know whether it is honestly or whether it is playing to the gallery, that if you stop corruption, that this country will grow. That is nonsense. That is total BS. Right? I mean, those are two mutually exclusive things. Well, not completely mutually exclusive. I take it back. Of course, corruption disincentivizes investment, and corruption takes away from growth. But what I'm saying is, beyond fighting corruption, you have to have a vision for this nation. Where is tax revenue going to come from? If the economy is shrinking or is growing at 1-2%, you're not going to be able to collect any taxes. So growth has to come. That is the question. Where is growth going to come from? And I will repeat this example which I have done in the past multiple times, but I don't mind saying it again. In 1995, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Vietnam exported $3.5 billion. Today we are at 12, Bangladesh is at 80, Vietnam is at 400. There's massive growth. I again go back to Mr. Premadasa. Since Mr. Premadas's 200 garment factories program, what export industry did we see? When our competitors went from apparels to toys, to radios, to TVs, to electronics, to telephones, now to all kinds of other component manufacturing for rockets, etc. We are still stuck in apparels. And if you are going to continue to produce simple products, you are going to get low wages. Get it through your scalp. If you want to have, good paying jobs, you need to become part of global production networks and start producing complex products. In today's production systems, production networks, nothing is made in one country. You slice the production in so many different ways that each country takes a a particular component or subcomponent in a particular product. For instance, this telephone is made in 43 countries and Sri Lanka is not part of it. Why are we not part of it? That is because we are insular. Our political ideology has been insular, and we are going to continue to tell people that we have to become more insular. That will kill us. We cannot be insular, and we cannot be statist. A statist insular policy has ruined us. People say 1977 opening of Jayawardena is the root cause for this. I will challenge anyone to show me numbers, and I will debate that person anywhere, that it is not the case. In fact, as a matter of fact, we are one of the closest economies in the entire world. We are not open. The only way, the technical way to measure whether a country is open or not is to sum the imports and exports of that country and divide it by GDP. Right? We used to be around 80, in the late 90s. We are now around 45 or something. The countries that we are competing with are in the hundreds, 200s and 300s. So what have we done? If we produce simple products, we can sell to the 20 million people in this country who are poor. What kind of revenue, what kind of income can we make? Small. If we can start producing products that can be sold in rich countries, we can make better incomes. I'm just simplifying this. I'm just simplifying it. Right? So insular statist inefficient ideology must go. And that's the only way that this economy can flourish. You've got to break the chains that this economy is bound in. And you can't expect us to deliver, for the private sector to create jobs, to the private sector to run efficient enterprises, if by all rules and regulations and chains and bounds you are restricted. Right? So the ideology, my friends, need to be outward looking. It cannot be inward looking. You have to provide the incentive for private enterprise to grow. Profit is not a bad word. If you think that state-owned enterprise reform is unnecessary, you are taking us back. You need to reform state-owned enterprises. That does not mean you sell everything that you own. Look at enterprise reform in many successful countries. Look at enterprise reform in not so successful countries. You can see the difference. Even in this country you can see. Some have been plus, some have been minus. Right? So let us be smart about the choices we have to make. Thank you.